They laughed when he rolled up his sleeve. It was supposed to be a quiet afternoon, the kind where people waited patiently, passing time with small talk and bored glances. The old man sat alone, his posture straight despite his age, hands resting calmly on his knees. His clothes were simple, worn, nothing that suggested importance. But when the heat became uncomfortable, he slowly pulled up his sleeve, revealing a faded tattoo on his upper arm. A few people nearby noticed it immediately. Some smirked. One man let out a short laugh. Another whispered, loud enough to be heard, "Looks like some fake military junk." The tattoo was old, the ink blurred with time. It didn't look impressive. It wasn't flashy. Just a strange symbol, unfamiliar to most. The old man didn't react. He had heard laughter before. He had learned long ago that silence was often stronger than explanation. What no one there understood was that this single tattoo carried a history written in blood, loyalty, and missions that never made it into textbooks. And within minutes, that laughter would turn into stunned silence when a United States Marine Corps captain walked in and recognized exactly what that symbol meant. Welcome back to History Time, where we uncover powerful stories of forgotten heroes, hidden sacrifices, and moments that prove history often lives quietly among us. Today's story is one you won't forget, because it reminds us how easily we judge and how dangerous it is to underestimate the past. Stay with us until the end, because the final reveal changes everything. This story is shared for educational and inspirational purposes, inspired by real military traditions and historical realities. Some details are dramatized to preserve privacy while honoring service and sacrifice. The old man had been sitting there for nearly an hour. Around him were younger men, some former service members, some civilians, all talking loudly about deployments, gear, and real military stories. One of them noticed the tattoo again and shook his head. "Back in my day, everyone wanted to pretend they served," he said, chuckling. "That tattoo doesn't even look legit." Another added, "Probably got it at some biker shop." The old man finally turned his head slightly, his voice calm and steady. "It's not meant to look pretty," he said. That only fueled more laughter. To them, tattoos were decorations, symbols to show off. To him, this one was a reminder of brothers who never came home. Years ago, that tattoo had been burned into his skin in a dimly lit tent. No ceremony, no applause. Just a quiet nod from the man who held the needle. A silent understanding that wearing this mark meant something you could never take off, even in death. Before anyone could respond, the door opened. The room shifted subtly, like the air itself had changed. A USMC captain stepped inside, tall, confident, his uniform crisp, his movements precise. Conversations softened, eyes followed him. Rank has a way of doing that. He scanned the room briefly, acknowledging a few nods, before his gaze landed on the old man. More specifically, on the tattoo. The captain froze, just for a second, but long enough to notice. His expression changed instantly. The casual authority vanished, replaced by something deeper. Recognition. Respect. He walked closer, slowly, eyes fixed on the symbol. The laughter stopped. The captain stopped directly in front of the old man. "Sir, may I ask where you got that tattoo?" The room went completely silent. The old man looked up, meeting the captain's eyes. "A long time ago. Somewhere you won't find on a map." The captain swallowed hard. He straightened his posture and did something no one expected. He came to attention and rendered a sharp, formal salute. Gasps filled the room. The men who had laughed just moments earlier stared in disbelief. The captain didn't drop his salute immediately. "With respect," he said, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "That symbol belongs to a Marine unit that officially never existed." The old man nodded slowly. "That's correct." The captain turned to the others. This isn't a decoration. It's a unit mark from a classified Marine task force active during covert operations decades ago. Their missions were off the books, their casualties were never announced, and their survivors were ordered to stay silent. No one spoke. The captain lowered his salute and pulled a chair, sitting directly in front of the old man. "My grandfather served with men like you," he said. "He told me stories, though he was never allowed to give names." The old man's eyes softened. Then he was a good man. The captain asked permission to sit, even though the old man had already nodded. "That unit symbol," the captain continued, "was only given after surviving a full operational cycle. Most didn't." The old man's fingers tightened slightly. Memories surfaced uninvited. Night insertions, jungle humidity so thick it felt alive, radio silence broken only by breathing and distant gunfire. He remembered the faces, young, determined, gone too soon. "We weren't heroes," the old man said quietly. "We were just men who followed orders and looked after each other." One of the men who had laughed earlier cleared his throat. "Sir, I didn't know." The captain turned sharply. "That's the point. You weren't supposed to." He stood and addressed the room. This man wore that symbol knowing no one would recognize it. That's what real service looks like. He turned back to the old man. "May I ask your name?" The old man hesitated, then shook his head. "Names stay buried. The tattoo is enough." The captain nodded, completely understanding. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small Marine Corps challenge coin and placed it gently into the old man's hand. From one generation to another. The old man closed his fingers around it, emotion flickering across his face for the first time. The room remained silent long after the captain stepped away. The laughter was gone, replaced by something heavier, respect mixed with regret. One by one, the men who had mocked him stood up and nodded, some offering quiet apologies. The old man accepted them without comment. He didn't need apologies. He had carried worse things than words. When it was time to leave, the captain held the door open for him. Outside, the sun was setting, casting long shadows. "Thank you," the captain said softly, "for carrying it, even when no one knew." The old man paused. "That's the job," he replied. As he walked away, no one laughed. They watched him go, finally understanding that the loudest stories are not always the truest, and the most powerful symbols are often the ones we don't recognize. The lesson is simple, but painful. Never judge history by appearances. Never assume age means weakness or silence means insignificance. The most powerful moment came not with applause or speeches, but with a salute given in a quiet room to a man who never asked to be seen. And the final takeaway is this: some tattoos aren't art. They are graves, memories, and promises etched into skin. If this story moved you, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to History Time, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us keep telling the stories that deserve to be remembered. Until next time, remember, history doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits to be recognized.